I'm so excited to film this video. You guys have no idea. I'm out of breath already, so that's good. Can I start like this? Kind of. Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ashley, for those of you who are new here, and for those of you who aren't, hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me again today. So today is a little bit of a different video for me, which is why I'm sat here. I'm going to chill like this, I think, for the most of the video, because today is actually a story time. And I've never actually done a story time video on my channel, but I love watching them, like one of my favourite videos to watch. I feel like you learn a lot about somebody, and like you kind of get a bit more of a gist of what they're about and like why they are who they are, which I find really interesting. This one is a bit of a tricky one for me to start with because it does put me in a bit of a bad light, but that's okay because we all do shit in our lives. By the way, I usually don't swear in my videos, but this video is going to have swearing in, so I'm probably going to set the like age as 18. So if you know anyone that's under 18 that wants to watch this video, I don't know, tell them to wait till they're 18 basically. And yeah, basically it's gonna be a lot of swearing because I swear a lot in my daily life, and I want this video to be like I'm talking to my friends. So basically if I swear, I apologise. Also, I'm wearing trackies, I'm not naked. Not that you think that's my leg colour, but you know. So basically I've got some notes down here so I cover everything and that, make sure I don't say their names, the people that are involved in the story. I've changed everyone's names, so even like my friends that I'm still friends with, their names are changed, just so that it's not obvious what I'm talking about. But people who know me, you will know what this is about. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to start it. I'm a little bit nervous about talking about this. And if anyone wondering, I did ask Josh if it was okay for me to film this video because it is kind of a weird thing for me to talk about, but he said it's fine, so cool. So I'm just going to get into it because it is going to be a really long video. There's a lot to cover, but I'm going to try not to miss anything out. I'm going to try and keep it as uncut as possible, and I'm sorry if you hate this camera angle, but I just want to sit here and chat with you guys as my friends, so that's what we're doing today. So I'm going to start, and basically I'm going to just tell you, it's basically about my best friend and her boyfriend. For anyone wondering, she's not my current best friend. That sounds really bad. I have a best friend at the moment, Krista, who you guys know. Krista and Lewis are my two best friends, and they were my best friends the whole way through school, but obviously we do have friendship group changes and stuff throughout school. So this girl I'm talking about, we were friends, like she went to my primary school. Her name is Claudia. I'm going to call her Claudia. She was my friend like from primary school. We were at the same primary school. Through secondary school we were kind of friends, but like not that close. Then I'd say probably like year 10 and 11, me and her got really close with another girl who I haven't given a name to. Let me give her a name. So me and Claudia are really good friends with this girl called Ellie, and Ellie I'm kind of still friends with. Like I don't speak to her that much, but like we do speak now and then, and like everything is calm with her, like she's fine, I have no problem with her. But we were kind of like in like a little trio at school, like year 10, 11ish. We were going to go to prom together and stuff, but that didn't happen in the end. I'm just going to give you a bit of background about our friendship if you're wondering. So we were friends at school. It was quite a weird friendship, like it's not like a friendship that I'm used to because I'm a very open person. If you know me, you'll know this. Even if you literally have just met me, I'll tell you literally anything, and I'll just make a friendship based on whatever we do in our lives, which is cool. But Claudia and Ellie, both of them were kind of similar in the fact that they wouldn't really share much. So throughout school, if you know me, you'll know there was a boy that I was kind of on off with the whole time throughout school. We were like best friends, and then we were like, I liked him, he didn't like me, he liked me, I didn't like him, backwards and forwards throughout school. His name was Arthur. So we were kind of on off all the way throughout school, which everybody knew about. So I would always talk about that. I would talk about like other boys that would come in and out of my life, you know, as they do when you're at school. But Ellie and Claudia were very quiet about who they were talking to. Like Claudia went out with a lot of boys that were older than us, but she would never tell us anything about it, which was really weird. And I actually, when I was at school, was speaking to a guy quite a lot who is called Milo. So Milo was about 3 years older than me, and like it was nothing like deep, but we would just like talk now and then. Like we literally talk, like would text on and off from when I was about 15 until I was about 17. So a couple of years of just on off texting with this guy. But she like would try and talk to him, and then she would also try and like, I think she started going out with one of his friends once because she wanted to get close to Milo, which is really quite strange. And I have a very good friend who's a couple of years older than me, who's a boy, and she would also, my brush up, she would also try and talk to him and try and get close to him and be really sexual with him, even though she knew that he was like my best friend and I spoke to him every day. So it was quite weird. Like, she was not really that good of a friend, which doesn't excuse anything. I'm not making excuses for myself, I'm just giving a bit of background to our friendship and how weird it was as a friendship. Like, it wasn't a good friendship, like, it just wasn't. Although Ellie was kind of similar, she was definitely a better friend. Like, we definitely spoke a lot more. She was definitely a bit more open. Also, the thing is with Ellie, I feel like whenever she said she liked somebody, Claudia would then go and start talking to that boy. So I understand Ellie not being open about it, because the same thing happened to me, and it was just really weird. Like, she didn't want anybody else to have a guy. Like, she wanted to be the one with the guy, which was just really weird. And throughout school she was a little bit what's the word, I don't want to say slutty, because that's really, I don't like that word, I don't like saying that, but I feel like at school, you know, bearing in mind we're under 16 at this point, like, she had been with a few people, which is fine if that's what you want to do, but I just feel like at our age it was a bit weird, and like, it was something that everybody spoke about, if you know what I mean. Like, me and Ellie both hadn't like done anything, so it was really strange, like, that she was doing this stuff and just not even talking to us about it, which was really strange. As a friendship, like, girls, you know what I mean, like, I would literally go and talk to my girlfriends now about anything like that, but she just didn't. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird friendship. She literally would just go after any boy you had. It was just so not had, but you know what I mean, like, any boy you were involved with, she would try and get with, and it was really weird. And that's not cool. Like, if you're a girl and you're at school, don't do that to your friends. Like, let them speak to who they want to speak to. Don't try and get involved. I mean, this is a bit rich code for me from what I'm about to tell you guys, but I just found it really strange. Like, she kind of like sought after these guys, like, she knew you were speaking to them, so she would want to speak to them, like, which is weird, especially for me, like, with Arthur, because we were so on and off all the time, and I really did like him, and it was a really messed up situation when she tried to like go after him, and like, she'd go around his house and stuff after school and stuff. I found that really hurtful, because she knew everything that was going on. Like, you just don't do that to your friend, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just really weird. So then we went to sixth form. So I went to a sixth form for 1 year, and I left that and went to a technical college for 2 years after that. So I did 3 years of college, but this is mostly around the first year at the sixth form. So at the sixth form college, we were friends, but she was at the local sixth form, which is where we went to school. So our school has a sixth form attached, but a lot of us didn't go there because it's really small. So I went to a sixth form in a different town, and she stayed here and went to the sixth form near us. So that was fine, because we didn't live that far away from each other. I'm not really sure where she lives now, but she only lived with like a 10-minute walk away, because obviously we didn't drive, but like literally like a 3-minute drive away if my mum dropped me to her house. So we still saw each other. Her auntie, I think it was, actually was the head chef at Bill's, and when the Bill's restaurant opened near us, like the local one to us, she took me for like the opening night with her nan and her other auntie, or her auntie's girlfriend, I think it was at the time. I can't remember who we went with, to be honest. I think it was her auntie's girlfriend and her nan that we went with. So we went to Bill's, it was really nice, whatever. And then around this time, so this was about September, October time, I'd say. So this is when we were at sixth form. She said she was going out with this guy. So this guy was called Henry, or is called Henry, like he's not, but that's the name we're giving him. So she started going out with this guy called Henry, and he's a couple of years older than us. I'm pretty sure he's my sister's year, so he would now be, well, I think he's a July baby, so he is probably 22 and I'm 20, so he's like 2 years older than us, kind of like a year and a half, because I'm January and she's February. I need to stop saying all the details about those people, are going to know who they are. So yeah, he was a couple years older than us, so I think he was 18 at the time. Let me think about this. Yeah, so he was probably 18 at the time. So I was like, oh, okay, so she had this boyfriend, and he worked at the same place that I worked, which I'm not going to say, but it was a shop here in England. don't know if it's anywhere else in the world. I think it might be in European places, but not too sure. But it's a shop here in England that does like fashion, homeware, kids clothes, like loads of different stuff in this one shop. So he actually worked there, which I was like, oh, okay, interesting, because I also worked there, but I'd never met him yet. So she, you know, was talking about him. I was like, okay, cool. So she was kind of, I think she was just seeing him at this time. They weren't like properly together at the time. Not really sure. I don't think they were. So then that night she stayed at mine. Was it that night? It might be another night. I think she stayed at mine. We were talking about him, whatever, blah blah blah. She just went on about him, whatever. So she'd met a guy, great. Meanwhile, I was still on and off talking to Milo, not talking to Milo, trying to meet new people at college, all this drama. I had a lot of boy drama before I found Josh. So yeah, so she was with Henry. So the reason Henry and I started talking was because he messaged me because he wanted to do something special for her. So he asked me what he could do. So that was literally it. Like, it was just that conversation, that was it. And then we just started talking like friendly. Like, he would invite me to stuff with her and him so that I wasn't left out and things, which was great. That was really nice. And then after not too long, like, it started to get really flirty. I don't remember like what happened, like how it got flirty, because can I just say, this story is from 2014. So it's 2014, like October time when this is happening, which is literally 4 years ago now. Like, it's actually insane that I'm doing this story time and it's 4 years later. So yeah, so we started like flirting a little bit, probably around like November time-ish, I'd say, November. So we would talk, and it was just like a lot of flirting, and it got to a point where I was only 16, can I keep this in mind? And also at the time, I don't really keep forgetting what I'm saying, at the time I was really poorly. I obviously just finished school. When I finished school, me and my family went to Florida. We went to like a few places in America, and then when we left, we flew from Florida, but the flight was delayed and we got meal vouchers, and I had a hot dog, and this is the second time it's happened to me, I had food poisoning from this hot dog which I got on the plane. And then I literally was so poorly from then until like, it was like the start of August we came back, and I was ill the whole way through August. I just didn't eat, so I didn't eat anything properly, I think, until the January. So literally for a few months I didn't eat like anything. I literally would just have milkshake, like those Complan milkshakes every day. I was not eating anything. I just couldn't eat anything. I couldn't hold it down for like a month, so that's why I just didn't eat. Then I lost my appetite and I didn't have any taste buds and stuff, so I was very skinny, which I look back and I'm like, oh god, jealous. I was very skinny and I was very vulnerable because I wasn't eating, I was sick. And also, after all the stuff that I went through with Arthur at school throughout like year 10 and year 11, I was very messed up. For those of you who don't know me, won't know that I do have mental health issues, so I do suffer from depression and anxiety, and that a lot of that did stem from Arthur and just stuff that I went through at school, which is really sad actually. So yeah, I was in a vulnerable position at that time for sure, and I was only 16, so bearing that in mind, like when I look back at it now, I'm like, oh my god, I was 16, like that's very young. And it's a very impressionable time when you just go into college and stuff, you know, it's very confusing. So he kind of was a bit of a pillar for me to lean on kind of thing. Like, he made me, at the time, I felt like he made me feel like a stronger person. Like, he would be like, oh, you know, try and eat something, and he'd try and like motivate me to get better, which I really liked. Obviously, as a vulnerable person, I definitely leaned on that. And definitely when I was younger as well, like if some guy was like showing me a bit of compassion and a bit of care, I really like attached myself to that. Like, I really was that kind of girl, which is kind of sad, but I think after everything that Arthur did to me, I make it sound like he was the worst person in the world. Arthur is somebody that I still see as a friend. We don't really speak that much, but if I saw him, I'd say hello and have no problems with. Whereas Henry, if I saw him, I'd want to kill him. But I think because Arthur and I were good friends for such a long time, it just kind of settled very easily because we have always had a weird friendship and it's just been on and off, which is fine. But after all the stuff that he had put me through at school, I was very vulnerable and emotional, and Henry came in at the right time, I guess, and made me feel a lot better about myself, which is really sad. I know there's a lot of girls out there that will feel like you need a man to make yourself feel better. You don't. I'm actually thinking about doing a playlist video, like the Get Lit With Me videos, but like my boss bitch songs, because I know what songs to listen to make myself feel like the boss bitch that I know that I am. Because girls, you don't need a man to make yourself feel 10 out of 10. You are 10 out of 10 all on your own. And if you are feeling vulnerable and you are feeling a bit crap about yourself, work on that before you start looking for a man, because honestly, they can't fix you. They'll only make it worse, which is evident from this story. So, moving on. So yeah, we started kind of flirting a little bit, and it was like, it was very intense. Like for me, I was 16. I'd never slept with anybody. I had never done anything. I was a very innocent little girl, 16 years old, fresh into the world, like no idea what I was talking about or doing, to be honest. Can I just say something? Nothing ever happened, like physically. Thank fuck for that. But yeah, make good choices, girls. Make good choices. So yeah, we started flirting. He'd be kind of like sexual, which I was always a bit like. I kind of go along with it, but I was always a bit like, oh, this really freaks me out. I was one of those girls that if I just started talking to a guy and they got really sexual, I would literally not talk to them because it freaked me out, the idea of doing any bits with anybody. Ew, that really freaks me out. Okay, anyway, yeah, so he kind of got like a bit inappropriate, and I'm not sure like what time this happened. I'm pretty sure it was about the December Christmas time. He made a fake Snapchat. So this was back in the day where Snapchat showed your best friends. So obviously we didn't want to be in each other's best friends because that would get really dodgy. So he made a fake Snapchat called Zac Efron 13 or something, I don't know, it was some kind of number. Zac Efron, because we both liked Zac Efron. Who the hell doesn't like Zac Efron? I still do. He could get it any day he wanted. Zac, if you're watching, hit me up. But yeah, so he named it Zac Efron, which was fine until Zac Efron snuck into my best friends, because then Claudia messaged me and was like, who's Zac Efron 12 or 13, whatever it was, and I was like, oh, interesting. Actually, I want to see if I still have that as a contact, because I'm interested to know. So yeah, I made this fake Snapchat, but then yeah, so Zac Efron came onto my best friends. So Claudia was like, who's Zac Efron on your thing? She was like, are you talking to Zac Efron? And I was like, no, clearly I'm not talking to Zac Efron. So I had to make up a thing, like, who the hell is this guy? So I said it was some guy that I met on Tinder, and he just had a fake Snapchat, which she believed. I mean, what? So anyway, so yeah, so that was that. And then because that happened, I then made another Snapchat, which was cool. I was going to name it Vanessa Hudgens because we all love High School Musical, but it didn't let me because the name wasn't available. So I changed it to I Love Zach 12. Sad AF, isn't it? Like, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, so it was I Love Zach 12 or something stupid like that. So we used Snapchat on there. And now everybody knows if a boy wants to Snapchat you, it's, you know, it's always going to be a little bit inappropriate. And it wasn't that inappropriate. Like, I'm not talking about like nudes, but there definitely were, turn off mum and dad. There definitely were like the standard, I don't know what to say, sounded like underwear pics, you know, that always happens, that always floats around. Everybody does that. Who doesn't do that? If you're a girl, like, if you're a girl or a boy, don't do it, don't ask for it. Just giving you my advice. But everybody kind of goes through that kind of phase. I think everybody does it at some point in their life. I believe, from what I know and what I've heard and what I've done. It standard like underwear pics where we're never like nudes, if you know what I mean. He would say obviously inappropriate stuff on Snapchat because then it would disappear. So he would say really inappropriate things, such as, I really hate saying inappropriate things, it makes me feel really awkward. But he used to say stuff to me like, oh, I'd love to do you from behind, and oh, you've got such a better bum than Claudia, and oh, I'd love to take you in doggy style, and a lot of stuff like that. And also like, I'd love to do you up the arse. Like really weird stuff. And he would talk about like how big he was and really weird things. Like obviously I know everybody does that, but not everybody does that, but everybody has like a kind of sexing thing. And I don't know, like I was 16, it was always quite weird for me because I'd never done anything, so physically I couldn't actually talk about anything because I hadn't done it, so I didn't know what to say. So yeah, that kind of happened, and then it was about Christmas time, so I'd actually bought him some Christmas presents. So stupidly, I bought him like a chocolate Christmas jumper because he said he never had a Christmas jumper, so I bought him that. I bought him like a little penguin cuddly toy because he liked penguins, I like penguins, whatever. So he gave me a lift home one day from college. This was in December, so he gave me a lift home one day and he was going to get his presents. However, my mum found out that he was at mine and she had a go at me. She was like, who's at our house? And I was like, oh, it's Henry. And then she was like, what's he doing there? So then he left like in a hurry because he was stressing that Claudia would find out. So he didn't get his presents ever in the end. So yeah, so this was about Christmas time and he was always like on and off. Like he'd always be like, he'd tell me he loved me, and then one minute he'd be like, we can't talk anymore because I'm really scared about Claudia finding out. And I was like, I thought you loved me. A little bit weird, hun, but whatever. So yeah, that happened. And then, so around Christmas, obviously I was still keeping my options open because I was a single girl and I could do what the fuck I wanted. So I was still talking to Milo at this time and probably 6 other boys. Not gonna lie, I did like text a lot of people when I was younger, but never did anything, like I said, because I was nervous as hell. So I was still talking to Milo, and what happened was Milo was very crap with me. I have nothing against him now. Like if I see him, I say hello to him. Like he's fine, like we're fine. But he was a bit of a shit when it came to romance. So he would kind of lead me on. Like he'd invite me around when he was drunk, and then he would like never actually ever see me. And he'd invite me out on a date and never actually take me on a date. He'd always say he'd pick me up from college and never did, ever. So I have to end up walking home or getting the train home, which was crap. So Henry was kind of protective over me in this situation, and he really didn't like Milo. He was always like, oh, why are you talking to him, blah, blah, blah. So this one night I messaged Henry because I was upset because Milo and I had a bit of a difficulty, and I was like, oh, he's really pissing me off, like he's not doing anything, he doesn't want to see me, keeps cancelling on me. And Henry got really mad and was like having a go at me. I was like, you need to stop talking to him, what are you doing, like blah blah blah. And I was like, I get what you're saying, but you've got a girlfriend and I'm sat here waiting around for you to finish up with your girlfriend so you can text me, and it's awful. Like I will need other people to talk to. Like, you can't expect me to sit around while you're with your girlfriend and think it's alright for me to just be there. It's not, you know, it's not. So we had this massive argument, and this was like the 19th of December or something. I remember dates very well most of the time, so that's why I remember that. It was like the 19th of December 2014, bear in mind. So we stopped talking. Okay, so we literally just stopped talking at this point. It was done, see ya, whatever. But then it came to New Year's Eve. Now this is such a funny New Year's Eve story. So me and my best friend, my other best friend, who is still like one of my best friends, we always have been like really super close. Her name is Jodie, and she was round mine on New Year's Eve, and we got very drunk. Bear in mind we were both 16. We played shot roulette because my parents had gone out, and I used to be very good at holding my drink. Like the year before I drank a lot of shots and nothing happened. This year Jodie and I we drank a lot of shots. I had like, this is why I can no longer drink Bacardi because of this New Year's, because I got very sick on Bacardi. We were in bed before even the New Year's fireworks. I don't remember half the night. I did like an underwear fashion show in my hallway for Jodie. So Jodie, if you're watching, what the hell, let's do it again. But yeah, so on New Year's Eve, obviously I was very drunk and I was feeling very sorry for myself, so I texted him. I think I was like, Happy New Year's or something stupid. Obviously he is with Claudia, so I had texted him and he replied and was like, I'm really sorry, I'm with Claudia, I'll reply to you in the morning. And I was like, okay. So the next day he then texted me, and obviously I was very hungover, feeling worse for wear, and I was like, oh, I love this. We started talking again from that. And then the following week was my birthday. So my birthday is the 8th of January, and he texted me this really long paragraph on my birthday, which I actually remember getting this, and I was like, oh my god, like, excuse me, I was like, oh my god, like, this is the best thing ever. Like, I've never had a paragraph that nice since Arthur, back when I was in school. So I was like, wow, okay, this guy really likes me. Fucking idiot, he doesn't, he's got a girlfriend. So he sent me this paragraph and he asked me to go out for dinner with him to an Ask Italian for my birthday. He was like, I want to treat you to dinner, let's go for dinner. And I was like, I can't, because my mum would never have let me. I was only just 17, so my mum would never have let me, because she really didn't like him, understandably. So I was like, I can't, I won't be allowed. And he was like, okay, whatever. So we didn't, we never went on a meal. I think we then stopped talking after a little while. I don't remember the ins and outs because this is like 3 years ago now. This is 2015 we're on to. I have no clue. Like, I don't remember anything. So then we were kind of on and off, and then it was around Claudia's birthday, and Claudia was having a party at her house, like a little house party, and she'd invited me and like all our friendship groups. We had this really big friendship group at the time. There was like loads of boys and girls, like we were all at college together. The two girls I was closest with were Mia and Hilary, and Jodie, obviously. So Mia and Hilary are two friends. Hilary has got a big part to play in this story when it gets to the end, so watch out for that. But Jodie, Hilary and Mia were my best friends at the time. Like, aside, well, me and Claudia weren't that good friends, really. We just weren't. But Mia, Hilary and Jodie were my friends. Mia and Hilary are both at college with me, and Jodie I just spoke to like every day. So the thing is about this, everybody in our friendship group knew what was going on, like, the whole time. So I really don't want to get her in trouble, but I don't think she's going to care. So Jodie knew about it from pretty much day one because she was my best friend. Mia and Hilary knew about it. All the boys in our friendship group knew about it. So basically everybody at the party was going to know about me and Henry talking and flirting and all of that stuff. So I was worried about this party. So on like a Thursday after college, because I finished at like 10:30, I went to the local shopping centre. So yeah, so I went to the local shopping centre to A, get her a birthday present, and B, find an outfit for her party. So I was walking through Primark, and then I look up and there is Henry with his friend, whose actual name I can't even remember. Yes, I can. What should we call him? Let's call him Mario. So we had Henry and Mario were there in the shopping centre, and I was like, what the hell? Like, I've never bumped into anybody in my life like that, but I was like, oh, hello. So we said hello, and then we just started shopping together, which was really weird. So, like, they were also looking for an outfit for her party because they were both going. So he was bringing in his friend Mario, who also knew about what was going on. Like, he told his friend, which is kind of weird. But anyway, so we were like shopping together, and he was being really flirty, and he was like, please wear a really tight short skirt, blah blah blah. If anyone doesn't know, I've got a really big bum, and that's always something men are drawn to. So that was what he was hinting at, and with the whole doggy thing also hinting at that. And so he was like, yeah, wear something tight and short, blah blah blah. So we were looking and shopping together. He went to some shops to try and find stuff. We just kind of were talking and shopping and whatever. So then I went home. He offered me a lift home, but my mum picked me up. So I went home, and then we had the party. So we're at the party, and it was really awkward. Like, I was drinking, but not like drinking. I had like 2 cocktails kind of thing, and we were all there. Like, there was like some guys and girls there, all like playing drinking games and chatting. This boy doesn't drink, by the way. as far as I have known him, he's never drank in his life. He always just drinks cups of tea. So wild. But anyway, yeah, so we were at this party and I was drinking and like messing around. So we were all like playing games, and there was this one guy who is kind of relevant, but we were like playing with a balloon, like just hitting a balloon back and forth at each other and like messing around and playing, being really playful. So after the party, Henry was staying at Claudia's and he messaged me when I'd left and was like, oh, I was getting really jealous seeing you play the balloon game with blah blah blah. And I was like, you're literally with her right now. Like, it got really risky. And then he was like, I know. He was like, she's just gone to the bathroom. I really liked what you were wearing and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay. Like, I loved it. Like, I'm saying that, I was like, whatever. But I loved it. I was like, oh my god, he's texting me when he's with her, blah blah blah. And you stopped saying blah blah blah. But yeah, so that happened. And then, okay, so I'm going to skip forward. So this was February, end of February. And then in the May, God, I really don't want to talk about this. Okay, this bit's going to be really hard for me to talk about. In the May, it was very tricky. Okay, so I think just finished college. I had also started a new job, and what had happened was, so basically in the May what happened was okay, this is really difficult for me to talk about because it's horrible. So in the May, my granddad actually died. So this is my dad's dad, and it was my last granddad that was alive. Obviously you only have two, but this is my last granddad that was alive, and he had been poorly for a while, to be fair. So he passed away, and obviously that kind of fucked me up a bit in the head. I also had exams around this time. I think I was still doing exams when he passed away. So he passed away in the May. This is in the May, I don't know what about. He passed away in the May, and yeah, this is what happened. So my cousin, who I'm really quite close with, what can we call her? I'm just going to say it because it's my cousin, so you're going to know. My cousin Emily had a party for, it was her year 11 leavers, so she had a leaving party for a year 11. So I was going to that, but me and my other friend at the time, who I was at college with, who also knew about the whole Henry situation, everybody knew about the Henry situation. So me and my other friend were at Nando's in our local shopping centre, and Claudia messaged me saying, are you in Nando's? And I was like, yeah, why? And she was like, oh, I'm here with Henry. And I was like, what? Bear in mind, we like hadn't really spoken that much for a while at this point. I don't remember how we stopped talking. I think it just kind of fizzled out. But it still really had affected me. So we were in Nando's, so I was like, let's leave before they get here because I don't want to see them. As we walked out of Nando's, I was looking down, I looked up and I just saw him, and she was stood closer to me, because where I looked up I just saw him, and I was like this, like I was like, oh, and then I saw her and I was like, shit, compose yourself. So me and my friend were there like, fuck this. So I was like, hi, and it was really awkward, and we were just like, hi, how are you? And like, he didn't really speak, but he did a little bit, and it was just like, get me the fuck out of here. I was 17, bear in mind, I was young and I was stupid, and my granddad had just died, I'd just done exams, I was a wreck, you know. So I'm pretty sure that day was the last day of my exams too, because I remember being like, yay, party after all my exams, whatever. So I went home and I cried and I cried, and this was the first time Mum was like, you really liked him, didn't you? And I was like, yeah, because I told her what had happened, and I cried and cried and cried. And so I was going to his party, my dad was going to take me, he wasn't home from work yet. So I literally came in, fixed my makeup as quick as I could, got changed. I came downstairs, I took probably 4 shots of vodka before I left. I just came in and did a shot of vodka. Then my dad got home, we did 2 shots together, I then did another shot, then my dad drove me to the party. Don't drink and drive, guys, but my dad is like old enough to know what he's doing. So we did shots of vodka, then we drove to this party. So we went to the party, and I was obviously really emotional, and I got very, very drunk, okay? Very drunk indeed. I literally don't know. There was a boy there who I actually know since then. His name was also Henry, obviously it's not Henry, but the actual name. His name was, I met him, I was like, oh, what's your name? He was like, oh, it's Henry. And I was like, I'm not calling you that, sorry. So I started calling him James, which was his middle name. So that's how deep it was. So I was very drunk at this party. I don't even remember, but I know he didn't like me being drunk. But I remember, yeah, I was very drunk, and that night I was very upset. Like, my mum picked me up and I was crying in the car, really emotional. So that happened, and then shortly after that, I'm not sure how long after, I'd probably say like, I don't remember when so they broke up. I think they broke up at the end of May, or possibly like, I don't know, they broke up at some time, okay? They broke up at some point. And then I went to my cousin Emily, her friend had a party in August. My mum went away with my sister, so they weren't here, it was me and my dad. So I went to this party, and Henry picked me up from the party. So he took me to like a car park, and we were just chatting and like being a bit flirty, but nothing happened obviously. And then he dropped me home. He was single at this time. One thing I do want to mention, because he did me a lift, this is my next bit, so the lift kind of time. He had a clothing brand, which I'm not going to name because I don't want to plug him. I don't know if he still even sells it. He had a clothing brand at the time, and I had bought a t-shirt from there, which he hand delivered, because this was his service apparently. So he literally came to my house, and at the time he had like a BMW. So he was like parked opposite my house. My dad was like, who's this geezer? So he was literally like opposite my house. Like, he wasn't playing safe. Like, he would literally sit opposite my house and just sit there with me in the car, like. Anyway, so I bought this t-shirt off him. Then when we had this other party, I bought another t-shirt off him, so he delivered it to me. Bearing in mind this girl's house is like 10 minutes away from me, I paid him £15 for the t-shirt and £15 for the lift. So he got 30 quid that night for a 10-minute lift. Like, he took the piss a lot, basically. So yeah, he did me a lift that night. I think he did me another lift, but I literally can't remember what happened. So that was at the beginning of August. I think he did another lift in August, but I can't remember when it was. So then in the September, I then had started at my technical college, and Arthur, who I'd mentioned before, had also started there, and we were kind of friends again. So we would go together, like he would drive me on a couple of days a week and drive me home and stuff, which was really nice. And we were kind of flirting again, and I started to like him again, which pisses me off. Like, Arthur, if you know who you are and you're watching this, like, I do genuinely love you as a friend, and we'll always be friends, but this time was really messy for us, as he knows, because he had broken up with his girlfriend at the time. We were kind of like flirting again, which was a bad move on my part. I should never have started that up again, but obviously I was still kind of invested in him, so we kind of were flirting and things. So yes. So yeah, whatever. So then there was a night in September, which was like the 25th of September, and me and at this time there was like a foursome. So it was me and my other three best friends. So it was me and my best friend Leonardo. So we had Leonardo, and then we also had Jodie, who I mentioned before, and her boyfriend called Ross, who we were like in a friendship group of four of us. So we used to always pre-drink together for parties. Bearing in mind we're still 17, right? Absolute weirdos. So we would pre-drink together for parties, and this one night there was a party at this boy's house. He used to always hold parties. His name was Evan. So we would go to Evan's house for this party. So this party was happening. I'm not sure. I think Claudia definitely wasn't. Was she there? No, Claudia definitely wasn't there, because this wouldn't have happened otherwise. So Evan's party. So me, Leonardo, Jodie and Ross used to always pre-drink together. However, on this night, Jodie had worked late, and her and Ross were going to go to the party separately. So me and Leonardo were a bit annoyed, actually, because when they got to the party earlier than us, we were like, right, so you could have pre-drunk with us. Jodie knows this, so she doesn't know that I'm being a bitch. So me and Leonardo pre-drank quite a bit. I wasn't drunk, but we walked from my house to Evans, which isn't far, but we walked the long way, so it was like a 15-minute walk. So when we were on the way, this girl rang me, who we were friends with at the time, but we're not anymore, so I'm not going to even mention her name. She rang me and was like, Jodie's really ill. And I was like, what do you mean she's really ill? She had no time to pre-drink. And they were like, she's done 13 shots. She's 13 shots at home. Me and Leonardo were like, how? Like this, like, bear in mind, Jodie is tiny. Like, she's got a very small frame. She's quite tall, but she's really skinny. So she just doesn't handle her drink, basically. Jodie, you know that. So she had done like 13 shots of this really strong Ciroc vodka. So we were like, what? Me and Leonardo were pissed because we were like, we're not even there yet and she's drunk. So we got there and it was such a shock because I was obviously drunk and Jodie was laid on the floor and an ambulance was coming for her. So Ross was stressing out, like Jodie was on the floor and I thought she was dead. Like, I genuinely didn't think she was breathing, so I started like freaking out and I was walking down Evans Garden and one of my really close friends, Kieran, I don't think it matters if I say his name, Kieran followed me and like made sure I was okay, and some other people made sure I was okay. Leonardo obviously was making sure I was okay, but I was a mess. So I ended up actually calling Henry and asking him to pick me up. So he did, and then so he picked me up. I was a mess. I was like, can we just go somewhere? So he went to the same car park that we went for the previous party, and we sat there. Bearing in mind, like, Evan's house is like here and Claudia's house is like here. Like, it wasn't far off. I don't know why he risked that, but anyway, so he picked me up, took me to this car park, and we were just chatting, and I was telling him about how Arthur and I had started talking again, but how Arthur had hurt me again, and he was like, oh, you should never go back to your ex. And I was like, oh yeah, I know. And then he was like, oh, I can't really say that because I'm getting back with Claudia. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why have you picked me up when you're getting back with Claudia? Like, break my heart 10 times, why don't you? Like, I thought my best friend has just died, like, she's now very poorly, and you're just gonna fucking stamp on my heart a little bit more. And all the time he was sat there playing Candy Crush on his phone, okay, like, are you joking? So I was like, take me home. So I texted my mum, I was like, Mum, please don't be mad at me, but I'm coming home now. And she was like, what do you mean, don't be mad at you? And I was like, I'm with Henry. And she was like, right then. So I went home, I cried, and he was just an arsehole. But anyway, so we stopped talking. I changed his name on my phone to like the stop sign so I didn't ring him or text him. It's one day in like October, so I was with my like new college friends. We were at Wetherspoons. Actually, Josh was there because he's like friends with my college friends. So we were at Wetherspoons and I get this phone call and I was with this other guy, this boy that we were friends with, called Dan. I don't think he would care if I mention him either. So I was there, like, Josh was there, obviously we weren't talking at the time, but still, and Dan was there and like all my friends were there. So I don't know why I mentioned Dan, but basically Dan was next to me. Basically, when my phone call came in, it was stop sign, and he was like, who's that? Why is he? I was like, oh, it's Henry. And he was like, okay, because they all knew about it. So I answered the phone, I left Wetherspoons, and he was like, Claudia knows about us, she's found some messages, can I please tell her that it's just you? And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, can I tell her that you liked me and I didn't like you back? And I was like, listen, it's your relationship, you tell her what you want to tell her, I'm not friends with her anymore, do what you have to do. And he was like, you sure? And I was like, yep, to make it work, do what you've got to do for your relationship, lie to your girlfriend if you have to, hun. So I was like crying, I was a mess, and I went back and my friend Lauren came in and was like, you're right, and I was in the toilet like crying my eyes out, bless her, she looked after me so much. So yeah, he was just a massive fuckboy. So he literally lied to his girlfriend. So bear in mind, this was like the October of 2015. That was the last time we spoke, literally ever. And then it comes to April this year, so April 2018, so like 2.5 years after we stopped talking, I get a message from Claudia, and she's like, can you please tell me, did you and Henry used to talk, did you like each other, blah, blah, blah? And I was like, bitch, it's been fucking years, like, come on. Basically, this girl I was telling you about, Hillary, who I was friends with, had got drunk one night in April and had told Claudia that Henry and I were talking, and Claudia was like, oh, it's fine, I didn't trust Henry anyway, just let me know. And I was like, listen, I'll tell you the story, but you have to promise me you don't stay with him and blame me and block me on Facebook or whatever. Okay, so bearing in mind I was with Josh when she messaged me, and I was like, if Josh didn't know, I would have been killing Hillary, because I'm not ruining my relationship. Like, even at this point, I still lied for him, which is why I'm doing this video. Oh, this is a good point, actually. I once said to him, like, we were talking about, like, if I ever got a boyfriend, and I said to him, if I got a boyfriend, we'd have to stop speaking. And he got really pissed off and was like, well, I've got a girlfriend. And I was like, exactly, hun. This is what I'm saying. I would never... why would I get a boyfriend if I like somebody else? Like, you wouldn't, would you? The fact that everybody that was there that night talking about this knew. So all these people that I'd known for like 3.5 years hadn't said fuck all, and now started bringing it up when we're all 3 years later. Do you know what I mean? So then she did end up blocking me, basically, and I was like, I literally said to her, where is it? Yeah, I said, don't block me on social media if you're saying a relationship with me. If you're saying a relationship with him, because it's true. Girls, if your boyfriend cheats on you, it's your boyfriend's fault, not the girl's fault. Also, like, fair enough, I was her friend, but she's still with him now. I just find that fucking funny. He also blocked me, but I was like, why are you people blocking me when I've done nothing wrong? If you're going to stay with him, don't block me. Like, just have me there, chilling, you know? Because why are you believing, like, I don't get it, I'm getting all the blame. Like, okay, they might have fallen out, but she's still with him, she's still sat on his dick. So I actually wrote a rap about it. Let me see if it's on my phone. I wrote a rap about it and I sang it to my mum, and she thought it was funny. Okay, I'm gonna block out their names, but I'm gonna put it in because it's funny. So I was like, I wrote this on the 4th of December. No, that's not true, that's today. I didn't when I wrote this, but anyway. I wrote, you went and pressed block, but you're still sat on his cock. You think he's amazing. Girl, are you crazy? In my present, my new man is heaven, but yours is sitting down there in hell, yeah, with Hillary. Went from boy to boy in the space of, what, 2 days? When I said boy to boy, there's names in there. In the space of, what, 2 days? Yeah, that bitch was playing games, trying to put dirt over my name. The funny thing is with Hillary, sorry, I'm stopping my rap halfway through. Hillary used to bitch about Claudia to me. Like, when I was talking to Henry, like, she'd put up an Instagram and I would always be like, haha, my Instagram's better. And she was like, yeah, girl, your Instagram's so much better, blah, 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 you're so much better. I know, but now you're dragging me through the dirt. So then I found out the 2 boys I put in that rap were the wrong boys that she'd slept with within 2 days, so I had to change it to, went from boy to boy, yeah girl, you a whore, with no time in between, so why are you talking about me? 3 years later, why are you being such a hater? We didn't even kiss, so listen up and hear this. I thought you were smart, Claudia. Come on and raise your bar, you thought you were in his heart, but bitch, I was in his car. So let's bring it back to Henry. Oh fuck, you're a scally. You think you're all that, but we all know you're a twat. Played games with my mind, but I came on to find that leaving you far behind would be the best thing for my life. That's my rap. I hope you liked it. So yeah, basically, that's it. But the reason behind me doing this story is what I was going to tell you, is the fact that I made a video about this back in like 2015 when it kind of all ended, and posted it on my YouTube, and it was kind of in between times, so we had spoke since then, and he told me to delete it, so I did, and I thought it was gone forever, but I found it on my computer the other day, and I messaged Jodie and I was like, should I do a story time? And she was like, yes, so I did, obviously, which is that's the reason why I'm doing this, because I watched the video and I was all very like, please don't hate him, he's done nothing wrong. I was really fucking stupid, and I was like crying and shit, and now I'm sat here like, bitch, come on, he's literally nothing. Like, I look at Josh now and I'm like, he loves me. Like, I genuinely thought that this fucking Henry loved me, and now I'm like, I look at the way Josh looks at me and the way Josh treats me, and I'm like, he loves me. Like, so one of them things, girls, so let me give you some tips. Number 1, if a boy has got a girlfriend, don't go there. Number 2, if it's your friend's boyfriend, definitely fucking don't go there. Number 3, you don't need a man to make you feel good. Milo, Arthur, Henry were all twats. Sorry, you were, though. Let's be real. If you're watching this video, you know you're a twat, so sorry, but they were. But it did teach me that Josh you know, was the right one. You have to go through some wrong ones to find the right ones. But let me just tell you, one thing that I do find really positive is that I never slept with any of these people. I never did anything stupid with these people. So if you are in a situation like this, just keep your head and don't sleep with somebody that's got a girlfriend, because let me tell you, they're never going to leave you they're never going to leave their girlfriend for you, and if they do, they'll probably leave you for someone else. So just try and find your own man, honestly, and if somebody cheats on you, cut them off. Now, I have this issue because I see it all over Twitter where a girl's boyfriend cheats on her and she slates the girl and her boyfriend's in a profile picture. So let me just tell you, it takes two to tango. If your boyfriend's cheated on you, he's cheated on you. Whether you know the girl or not, if you're going to hate the girl, hate your boyfriend. If you're going to stay with your boyfriend, that's completely fine. Like, if Josh cheated on me and I decided to stay with him, which I never would, by the way, Josh, if you're watching, don't ever do that. But if I was cheated on and I was going to stay with the boy, you'd have to forgive the girl, okay? Whether you're going to be friends with her or not, that's irrelevant. But you can't hate the girl and call her a whore and a slag when your boyfriend's buddy put his dick somewhere else, you know what I mean? So my issue with this is why I get angry about it, is because I know that I did wrong, okay? Fair enough. I liked someone I shouldn't have liked. I was 16, I was dumb, whatever. But he had a girlfriend. He knew what he was doing. He was 18 years old, for God's sake. Like, 18 and 16 is a big difference. Although 18 isn't that grown up, like looking back at me when I was 18, I know it's not that grown up. Even at 20, I'm not grown up. But 16 is very young. So just a little tip, that if you are a girl and you think your boyfriend might be cheating on you or texting someone else, if you find out it's true, don't just blame the girl because your boyfriend's in the wrong. And if you forgive him and stay with him, you do you, boo, but forgive her. But all jokes aside, I hope they're very happy. They're probably almost 4 years into a relationship now, but not really, because they broke up in between for about 6 months. So her saying they were together for 3 years, that's a lie, hun, because you broke up for about 4 months. So that's not 3 years of a relationship, is it? So that's the end of this story time. I hope you liked it. I hope I don't look like a big bitch, even though my t-shirt does say full-time bitch. I am a bit of a bitch. Sorry for all the swearing. Sorry if you now hate me. That's fine. But if any of you guys have been in a similar situation, leave me a comment. I want to know. And while you're here, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, and also leave below #WeHateHillary. I'm kidding, don't put that. But yeah, Henry and Claudia, I hope you're very happy, because I am. Like, I know that I'm 10 times better than he will ever be. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did and you want to see more story times from me. I don't have much more interesting stories to tell, but I'll try and think of some. And don't forget to hit subscribe below so you see my upcoming videos. I've got a new giveaway going live tonight over on my Instagram, so make sure you follow me there. It's all below as usual. And I've got an extra video coming on Sunday, which is a misguided haul, so make sure you don't miss that. And I'll see you very soon. And Henry, if you're watching, fuck you.